recording, which I'm doing. Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. My name is Mike Jackman. I am the chair of the South Shore Community Partners in Prevention, the local CHNA here in the greater Plymouth area. And as I said, we're very excited to have you all here this morning to recognize some great nominees who have been nominated for our Health Literacy Awards. Our goal, our mission as a CHNA is to promote improved health outcomes for people in our region. And over the years, we have taken on the theme of health literacy as a way to do that, as a way to accomplish that mission. And we believe that by improving people's ability to understand, obtain, and process health information in an effective manner, that we are improving their ability, their health outcomes and the health outcomes across the community. So that's why we're here. I wanted to give a few minutes to our health literacy coordinator, Bethany Bergen. Bethany has been our coordinator for about 3 years now, Bethany, 2.5, 3 years?
Started in 2018, yeah.
Yeah, 3 years, there you go. Even with that year out of time, I was close to.
I still count that one, yeah.
Yeah, I have more gray hair, so I think we did have a year somewhere in there. But Bethany is our health literacy coordinator, and she's doing some great work in the community with our committee. So I'll turn it over to Bethany just to talk about where we're at with health literacy and what's to look forward for in the future. Go ahead, Bethany.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it. And I'm just so happy to be here with everyone today to celebrate some successes in a year that definitely was marked by challenges and adversity. I think we can all agree that this has been a year that health literacy and health communication successes were more important than ever as we face not only the challenge of COVID-19, but then also delivering services that people never stop needing in spite of the pandemic. So I do appreciate everyone's time, energy, effort, and more than ever this year, I think we really saw people go above and beyond in a lot of ways. So it's greatly appreciated, and I'm so happy to be here to celebrate these successes. I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of what we were able to accomplish this year, and then looking forward just briefly as to what we hope to do in the programming year starting in September. We were able to welcome 3 new members to our Health Literacy Committee this year, which is very exciting. I'm constantly recruiting for new Health Literacy Committee members, so I love having this audience to do my plug. I'll put my email in the chat, and if you would like to reach out after the meeting, I'd be more than happy to talk to you about any initiatives or ideas that you might have about how to promote health literacy in your own area of influence, I guess. Our 3 new members were Allison Gillis, who works with South Shore Health System, Tyra Jackson, who works with the Department of Mental Health, and Tice Hardem, who works at Harbor Health, the Brigham Harbor Health facility. So we're so happy to have them on board. Just some great professionals who I know are going to bring so much insight and expertise to our committee and really enhance an already very strong group of very dedicated professionals. So we're very excited to have them. And I'll be working with them throughout the summer to discuss any new projects or initiatives that they might want to engage in. So some of the things that we have been able to do this year in an effort to increase our reach within different communities that we have been trying to kind of draw in and get more services directly for, I've reached out to faith community leaders, and that's been a very rewarding experience. I'm meeting with several different leaders in the Plymouth area over the summer to discuss some of the needs that they have identified in their parishioners and in their broader communities. And some of these churches and religious groups deal and serve populations who have been historically underserved. So we're very excited to have this introduction with a group, with some leaders who are very excited to become part of the health literacy promotion activities that we've been working on. We also have made contact with 2 of the doctors from South Shore Hospital who are primarily in charge of infectious disease there. And as we move into this new phase of not post-COVID, but COVID recovery, I guess you could say, we're looking forward to having either Dr. Todd Ellerin or Dr. Wilds come out and speak at a general meeting in the fall about where we are with COVID and some of the issues around vaccination reluctance, especially in parents of young children, as we move towards seeing younger and younger children being eligible for vaccination. So we're very fortunate to have that, connection with those docs who have been on national, international news. They know their stuff, and we're just very fortunate to have made contact with them. In addition to that, we're having our 2nd annual, this is another annual event that skipped a year, but the health fair at Plymouth Public Library will be held this year on September 25th. I'm working with Tom Comiskey, the outreach librarian from Plymouth Public Library, to organize and get that together. The first annual one we had in 2019 was a great success. We learned a lot from it, and we're really looking forward to having some of our participants who were at that event come back this year, and also bring in some new service providers and people who can reach out to the community with and give us more information about the services and health promotion activities that they provide. Another main focus for us this past year has been increasing our focus on diversity, equity, and representation across the board in all of our health literacy activities. And with that in mind, I am working together with Kim Scotland to try to promote more health literacy and health communication content that's in languages other than English. So we will be focusing on mainly Spanish, Portuguese, Haitian, and Chinese language resources that we can share either through social media or other more directed activities to get information to people in the language that they are most comfortable with. So we're very excited about that. And that kind of goes hand in hand with increasing our social media presence, which Kim and I are also working together on to do more scheduled posts, to do more, I guess, directed messaging across different platforms. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to working with Kim on, in the upcoming year and over the summer. Kind of along those same lines, I've been working with Allison Gillis, who is one of our new members, on understanding a little bit better how we could use the Aunt Bertha resource clearinghouse to data mine and understand a little bit better who is coming to that platform and what they're looking for, and how we can start meeting some of those needs as they're defined by what people are looking for in the services that are most often searched there. So that's been exciting as well. And then finally, I guess the only other thing I would say is, we are always looking forward to new projects, new initiatives, and supporting existing projects and initiatives. So if there are programs that you're aware of, if there's a program that you're interested in pursuing, I'm more than happy to speak with you about that. We do have health literacy grants available, and I can help facilitate that process. If anyone's interested in supporting their programming through a health literacy grant, I'm more than happy to speak with you about that. And other than that, I just would say again, thank you so much for sticking in there this year. It has been a beast, and it's so nice to just kind of breathe a collective sigh of relief and be able to see success and enjoy the fact that we can be here together and celebrating some positive outcomes based on everyone's efforts. So again, thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Bethany. And yeah, please do put your info in the chat. If anyone has any thoughts, ideas, any interest in participating with the Health Literacy Initiative, please do reach out to Bethany. We want to broaden the scope of this initiative and get it to as many different communities and different people in different towns geographically as well. One note about the social media, it's probably I'm not sure if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I do have access to the Twitter account for South Shore Prevention. And one good thing I was able to do was to highlight all of our nominees. So if you go and look at our Twitter over the last week or so, you'll see all the nominees, a little bit of blurb about why they were nominated and some links to their program. So please check that out if you have a minute. It'll make me feel a little bit better that my efforts at putting a tweet together that made some sense were not wasted. So getting into the heart of the matter, we're going to hear about our nominees. We're very excited that to have folks here to represent all of these great programs. And we're going to hear from the folks who nominated them first. So I'm going to turn it over to Sheila Flaherty. Sheila, I think I see you on there, even though you're under an alias on your screen. But
oh, gee.
That's okay. I'm very good at detective, Zoom detective. So I found you out.
I think I need new glasses. You know what? I lost the link, so I called Kathleen to send me the link. And luckily, oh, she just creeped us. But anyways, good morning, everybody. What a wonderful group you are, Michael, Bethany.
Well, thank you.
Outstanding. But I'm Sheila Flaherty. I'm president of NAMI Plymouth. NAMI is a National Alliance of Mental Illness, and it's a volunteer organization. So I'm proud to have nominated Kathleen Considine for the Health Literacy Award. She's worked so hard with NAMI Plymouth and with CHNA. But I have to say, all the nominees are so deserving of this award. Kathleen's been on the NAMI Plymouth board for about 18 years. Wow. And NAMI, she was a member of the NAMI Mass board and was president for NAMI Mass in 2019. What I have to say is she's a very, very dedicated volunteer that has provided hope, support, education, and advocacy on behalf of individuals and families affected by mental health conditions. She has tirelessly spread the word about NAMI. I remember years ago, one of her earlier visions was to have NAMI as a household word. Due to her compassion for those affected by mental health conditions, she has become a moving force on joining local committees and organizations. For example, well, obviously, CHNA, Plymouth DMH Site Board, DMH Mass Family Advisory Board, Plymouth County Outreach Hub A program, and was on the South Shore Behavioral Collaborative. Some accomplishments in support of NAMI of Kathleen's is she was a major force in getting the roadmap through the mental health system 2021 completed. She was a force in getting our NAMI Plymouth Jumpstart program up and running back in 2019. This program is to help peers with modest amounts of financial support to peers to help overcome obstacles. She's a wonderful trained teacher to facilitate NAMI family-to-family programs, which is our 8-week program. She's a strong facilitator in our NAMI Plymouth Family Support Group that meets twice monthly, first and third Thursdays of every month from 7 to 8:30. She's helped us obtain behavioral health grants through CHNA to promote teachings for those who are lost in the chaos of mental health. She's helped organize, get guest speakers from many outreach programs like DMH Plymouth Community Conversations, along with NAMI and DMH Community Conversations, South Shore Community Partners in Prevention. And these recently community conversations were about mental health and COVID. She's made many presentations on mental health, Plymouth Public Library, Zion Church in Marshfield, NAMI Mass conventions. She's helped with planning in our own voice presentations. And she's always been a strong force in our annual luncheon meeting of NAMI Plymouth, which is a terrific event. I've always admired Kathleen for her leadership skills, her insight, knowledge, and all her experience in the mental health journey. She's such an advocate. She has the knowledge, the strength to help others navigate mental health challenges with support, education, and advocacy. We always like the NAMI saying, let's work together, and you are not alone. So thanks, Kathleen, for all your hard work. You're outstanding. Take care.
Thank you, Sheila.
Welcome.
And I will turn it over now to Kathleen to accept her nomination.
Good morning, everybody. So it's so weird to hear somebody talking about you, not behind your back, but just talking about you. And I'm not a person who typically wins or is nominated for awards. I mean, probably the last award I won was in grammar school for winning the spelling bee or something like that. So I really appreciate having been nominated for this prestigious award, and it's an honor, particularly being nominated by Sheila and my fellow NAMI volunteers. You know, I didn't start out life wanting to be an advocate for individuals and families who are affected by mental illness, but you know, that's the way life is. As it turns out, my sister, my husband, and my daughter all experienced serious mental illness. And the strange and ironic fact is that because of their difficulties and struggles, I have had such a meaningful life, interacting with wonderfully generous and compassionate people whom I never would have met otherwise. Isn't that strange? Huh? So I want to leave you, because I don't want to overtalk, I want to leave you with some concepts that guide the support and advocacy work of our beloved NAMI. At our twice monthly family support groups that Sheila mentioned, we open every meeting with the following, and I'm going to call them our 12 commandments. So here goes. These are our principles of support, and these are aspirational beliefs about mental illness. We will see the individual first, not the illness. We recognize that mental illnesses are medical illnesses that may have environmental triggers. We understand that mental illnesses are traumatic events. We aim for better coping skills always. We find strength in sharing experiences. We reject stigma and do not tolerate discrimination. We won't judge anyone's pain as less than our own. We forgive ourselves and reject guilt. We embrace humor as healthy. We accept we cannot solve all problems. We expect a better future in a realistic way. We will never give up hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathleen. Congratulations. Such a worthwhile nominee. And we have Representative Moratori here, and I believe we also have Senator Moran here. So, you know, Matt, I always consider the Senate to be the upper branch since I worked there. So I'll turn it over to Senator Moran to say a few words.
Oh my, that is a very nice introduction. Hello, everyone. I apologize. I'm driving to a military event that I just found out about, but I wanted to be sure I was here. I've got, and they're going to check me in a second, so it's not great timing, but I was the mental health counselor a while ago, and I have a special appreciation for all of your work, and just congratulations. Got the police here, so I'm going to sign off real quick.
All right, Senator, thank you so much for being here. And I know your office has prepared some citations for all the nominees in your district, and we'll make sure we get those to Kathleen and the other nominees that you represent. So thank you, Senator Moran. Representative Moratori.
Yeah, thanks for the kind introduction, Mike. I appreciate that. I really appreciate the invite for here, and it's really a true honor to hear about what Kathleen has done over the years. And I too am honored to present a citation from the House. It's from the House of Representatives, and it's a citation from the entire membership. And I'll read part of it. It's in recognition of being named the 2021 South Shore Community Partners and Prevention nominee for Health Literacy Award for your mental health advocacy, family support, and leadership as past NAMI president, as well as your involvement in the Plymouth Plymouth Site Board for DMH and CHNA Steering Committee. And it's from the entire membership signed this date, June 11th. Speaker Ron Mariano, myself as your proud representative, also State Representative Kathy Lenatra and State Representative Steve Zaros. So congratulations, and we will get this to Mike to get this to you. Well deserved.
And thank you, Representative Moratori. And Monica is here from Senator Moran's office, and she's going to read, I think, the citation from Senator Moran.
I am. Kathleen, we have a citation for you. And I just want to say I've had the pleasure of seeing you in action over many, many years, and have always so appreciated the time and the effort and, you know, and the sincerity with which you have fought for mental health awareness and support in the community. So thank you so much. And this citation is given from the Massachusetts State Senate. Be it known, the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Kathleen Considine in recognition of your dedication and commitment to raising awareness of mental health needs in our community. Signed by Senator Susan Moran and Senate President Karen Spilka. So congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you, Monica. One thing we like to do with our Health Literacy Awards is to promote literacy by awarding our nominees with books. And I've chosen for Kathleen a book. I'm going to hold it up here. It's called, of course, it's backwards, but Hidden Valley Road. It's Inside the Mind of an American Family, and you've read it already. Of course you have. Well, I'm going to give it to you. You can pass it on to some of your friends in NAMI who might appreciate it. And I feel like I have to say, just in the spirit of transparency, if you're wondering, you know, next year, if you're thinking maybe I should nominate someone for a Health Literacy Award, just saying, 2 years ago in our second annual awards, Kathleen nominated Sheila. So, you know, just in the spirit of transparency, I think it's important to point that out. But they're both very worthwhile nominees. And we're so pleased to have Kathleen on our steering committee and our health literacy subcommittee as well. So thank you, Sheila, and thank you, Kathleen. So I'm going to move right along here to our next nominee. And I'm going to turn it over to Jen Cantwell to introduce them. Jen Cantwell, thank you.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. So I nominated the Plymouth County Resilience Library for the Health Literacy Award. And this library was the brainchild of Katie Mappa and Sarah Cloud and Kelly Mae Gomer. So there's a lot to love about this project, but I love the collaborative effort that led to the project. I love that it was a successful pandemic pivot. It was originally conceived as a physical library, lending library that would operate out of the family center. And when the pandemic hit, it was morphed into a virtual library, which really has a broader reach, is available to more people than can physically get to the family center in Brockton. So the library is kind of constantly being updated, adding new resources, and I think it's a very sustainable option. So I feel like Sheila is such a hard act to follow because she said such lovely things about Kathleen. And I will want to say, I really admire and respect Katie and Sarah and Kelly, each for their individual work, of how they work together. And I'm going to keep it short and sweet and just say thank you to that team for developing the Resilience Library.
Thank you, Jen. And our nominees are here today. So I think I'll turn it over to Katie to kick it off. Katie Mappa.
Sure. Thank you so much, Jen and Pat, who's not here, for the nomination. We really appreciate it. I just want to echo Jen. She stole the words right out of my mouth. I love that this is a collaborative project and that we were nominated as a group for it. So the library was funded in part by a CHNA health literacy grant. So we used that funding and some, leftover money and budgets from COVID. So thanks, COVID, to fund a 3-year virtual library with ebooks and audiobooks. And yeah, we really, Kelly and Sarah had a similar idea of getting books into the hands of kids and families who need to learn about substance use and mental health and coping skills and just general health literacy. And so we worked together on this. Really, for me, this was born out of the beautiful series that Sarah Cloud is writing, the Mama Paca series about losing a loved one to substance use. And then the To the Moon and Back has their book, Sam the Superhero in His Super Life, about being a child born substance exposed. And those 2 books are just absolutely gorgeous children's books and really kind of inspired this. So I wanted to throw a plug in there. And also just a quick shout out to Katie Rayner, who's on the call. She was our project coordinator for this and really did all of the actual work of getting this done. As we came up with ideas and brainstormed, and she worked so hard to get it up and going. So that's all I want to say. And Mike, I'll let you turn it over to the next person.
Okay. I think Sarah is with us. Sarah, do you want to talk a little bit about your book and why it's important to have that type of literature for kids who are dealing with these types of problems?
Good morning. I would love to. And I just want to say a really quick word. I think that this project, and as is many other ones, really highlight the importance and value of relationships and collaboration. I think Kelly and I were writing one grant and Katie and her team was writing another. And we realized by talking that, we would do much better if we put this together. And Katie and her team really operationalized this. We just were kind of putting ideas out there. So the credit goes to them. But thank you for mentioning the Mama Paca children's book series. The second in the series is about a young boy who loses his dad, who had been in long-term recovery with a readmission. And that's actually, I wrote that in working with and in collaborating with a friend's family. So I collaborated over this past year with the parents and siblings of Sean Staunton to tell his story about going into the depths of addiction, how much he utilized the Boston Bulldog Running Club and wellness and had 4 amazing years of in readmission, in which he gave a lot back to the community. And so that book is coming out probably in the next 2 weeks. So I'll certainly provide that update. But I think, I went on this journey of self-publishing just because I couldn't find books for elementary school children that addressed this topic. And so I think it's really important for me to, when I find other resources, to put that together. So on the website, mamapaca.com, is a tab that has other books on it for children on this topic of the disease of addiction. So if there's any other resources or information out there that you think would be helpful for me to include, I'd very much love that input. The website also gives us guidance and feedback and suggestions for how to introduce the topic, how to introduce the books, and themes in the books around resiliency and it's not their fault, and things like that, just to kind of re-emphasize that as we're working with children on these topics. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Kim has put the link for the Resilience Library in the chat. Sarah, feel free to put that mamapaca.com. Oh, someone already did.
Kim already got to it. Awesome. Thank you.
Trying to keep on top of the links. That's amazing.
And our third nominee from this group, Kelly Maycomber. I think Kelly's with us.
I'm here. Good morning.
Hi, Kelly. Thank you for being here. I have to let you talk since you pretty much canceled your meeting to be here. So,
well, thank you so much. I have so many thoughts, but first, just thank you in general. Thanks to Jen. Thanks to Pat. I agree with Sarah when she says that really I was an advocate for this movement, but a lot of it was the work of Katie Mappa and the DEC initiative. So thank you to you guys for letting me jump on board. I don't share this a ton, but prior to this role, I was a 6th grade English teacher. That's what I did before I took a role in prevention. And I just know, how important it is for young people who experience ACEs and trauma to read stories that they can, picture themselves in and really relate to, fictional stories that have nothing to do with learning about the science of trauma, but more so, learning about what someone else might have felt or experienced in that moment. So I was super excited to jump on board with this entire project. And I'm just grateful to be a part of it. I also would like to mention that I gave a lot of titles of books over to Katie, but a lot of those titles came from Sean Kane, who worked at Independence Academy in Brockton and now works at MAP Academy in Plymouth. But really, I guess I'll just leave it with everyone on this call I've seen in so many different capacities advocate for mental health and trauma. So thank you to everyone that's here. But also in the same sense, the saying from Ed Jacobs that, we have to break down the silos or disconnection. I've never had that experience in Plymouth. I've always worked so well with people doing similar work to me. And, that experience hasn't always been the same in other communities I've worked in the past. So I really appreciate working in Plymouth and I'm grateful to be here. So thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. And thank you to Sarah and Katie and also to Katie Rayner for all the work she's doing on the library. I have subscribed to the library. And I one thing about the pandemic is when all the physical library was closed, it was great to have Overdrive to get books. And you guys were really creative and adaptable and flexible in leveraging that type of technology to make sure that the program could go forward during the pandemic. So kudos to you for that. I want to turn it back over to Representative Moratori. Matt, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mike, and congratulations to the three of you. And you all mean so much to this community. We really appreciate all you've been doing. I do again have 3 citations, and I'll just briefly read each of them. The first one is to Katie in recognition of being named the 2021 Social Community Partners and Prevention nominee for a Health Literacy Award for collaboration to implement the Resiliency Library Book Buddy Program and for raising awareness on substance abuse, prevention, mental health, and resiliency. So congratulations to you, Katie, for that. My dear friend Kelly, for all you've been doing, thank you so much for what you do in our community. We're so glad that you left 6th grade teaching to come to us in Plymouth, and you've made a huge difference in our community. And we really appreciate all you do and look forward to what you continue to do for our community.
Thank you.
This is the same for you, Kelly. Again, this is signed by Speaker of the House, Ron Mariano, myself, State Representative Matt Muratori, State Representative Kathy Lenatra, and State Representative Steve Zaros. Katie, same for you. The same signatures are on yours. And on yours, Sarah, pretty much the same writing, except I do want to thank you for giving me the honor to be, I believe I was the first one to read Mama Paca publicly. And I really appreciate that honor. And I have since read that a few times in public at different places. So we added that little language in there for authoring a children's book, Mama Paka, to address the impact of family addiction. So congratulations, and thank you again for what you all do.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate that. And I'll turn it over to Monica. I know that she has some citations from Senator Moran.
I do. Citations for each of the nominees, and congratulations to all of you. And thank you so much. I don't know when you sleep. Every time I see you, you're on a new project, doing something different, always with compassion and enthusiasm. So thank you so much, all of you, for what you do for the community. And the citations read, in recognition of your success in providing educational resources to help children and families in Plymouth County to cope with mental and emotional health issues. Signed by Senator Susan Moran and Senate President Karen Spilka. Thank you all.
Thanks, Monica. Yeah, I just want to say, you know, people, if you're not aware, there's a lot going on in Plymouth around substance abuse prevention, mental health, you know, dealing with resilience and trauma. And a lot of the folks like Kelly and Katie were saying, and Sarah was saying, they're working together, whether they're coming from different fields, different perspectives, different funding sources, whatever it is, people are working together. And it's really important to note the power in that. Now, Matt and Monica, you make me feel like a slacker because I only got one citation for the three of them. So you're going to have to like share it 4 months at a time. I don't know, like frame it and ship it around. But I do have books. So I don't know, these are probably not appropriate for the Book Buddy program, but I do have 3 books, so that's good. One book here, it's about resilience. It's about a young man. I actually read this book. I can attest to it. It's called My Time Will Come. A young man who was involved with a criminal gang life as a young kid, and was, as a 14-year-old, was sentenced to life without parole. And it talks about his journey and what he went through and the adversity he went through. So maybe not appropriate for the Book Buddy program, but might be of interest to you. This book I'm reading now, it's interesting. It's called The Recovering. Of course, it's backwards. Intoxication and Its Aftermath. This woman, Leslie Jamison, she's a writer. So she comes at it from her addiction from a writer's perspective, and talks about how over the history of literature, people have written about their own addiction and their own recovery, and the male versus the female perspective. So I'm just kind of getting into the book, but it's really interesting. And one last book, which I have not read because it's so big and daunting, but it's a bestseller right now. It's very timely. It's about the Sackler family and the opioid with Purdue Pharma, Empire of Pain. This guy wrote a great book. He's from Dorchester, so local boy. He wrote a great book about Northern Ireland called Say Nothing. His name is Patrick Radden Keefe. This book is called Empire of Pain. So I will get these books to you all. Like I said, you can share them. You can share the citation. You can share the books. Do whatever you want with them. Thank you all, and congratulations on being nominated today.
Thank you very much.
All right. So moving right along in the interest of time, we're going to go a little bit out of order because one of our nominees, well, 2 of our nominees could not be here due to the birth of a child, which is a good thing. So I'm going to turn it over to Janice Fender from Reach Incorporated to talk about the program that she has nominated. Janice, go ahead.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Janice Fender, and I nominated Travis Dupuis, Walter Fender, and the staff, and all the staff at the post program in Marshfield. I nominated Travis, Walter, and the program staff for their outstanding work, working consistently with the young individuals in their program, just providing support and encouragement to all their students, especially during this coronavirus pandemic. Walter and Travis and the post staff this year really helped facilitate a young special needs girl to achieve a 100-hour yoga certificate. And, you know, as we know, yoga and the practice of mindfulness really helps us focus on our breath, really helps us dealing with our anxiety and the unknown and the unexpected. So Walter and Travis, you know, really worked really hard with this, you know, young woman who's really interested in yoga. And now she has a 100-hour certificate. She is collaborating and developing a class at the Kingston Breathing Lotus Living Arts Studio. And so she's continuing, she's getting more hours certificate with the hopes of having her own class, which is really exciting. And you know, what has been really, really helpful is the young students learning the mindfulness and the yoga and the breathing, and then bringing it home to their families and then practicing with the families. And that, you know, this has been such a hard time for everyone, and of course, their families. And, you know, I just would like to say a sincere thank you, because I think it's a wonderful thing what Travis, Walter, and the POST program have done. And they just worked so really very, very hard. So that's what I'd like to say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Janice. And so Travis and Walter were scheduled to be here, but Travis's wife went into labor last night and he's at the hospital now, and Walter had to cover the class. So they couldn't be here, but Erin Wiggin, who is the department head for special education at Marshfield High, is here. So Erin, I'd like to turn it over to you, talk a little bit about the POST program.
Sure, my intention here today was just to glow in pride about the POST program, but I'm happy to share a few words. For those of you guys who aren't familiar with the POST program, what it is it's a educational setting for adults 18 to 22 that have moderate to severe disabilities. And what Travis and Walter and James and Tyler and Jeff do is they run this program and integrate it into the community so that these students are able to really grow and thrive and find how they are going to be a part of the community for the rest of their life. So in a lot of POST programs or similar programs, we just kind of give them functional academics and then connect them to their adult agencies, and districts will move on. But that is not what POST does. POST lives and breathes wellness, acceptance, perseverance, and just they all go above and beyond so that every single member of their program is connected and understands their value. The young woman that she was just referring to yesterday has significant disabilities, but POST has been able to support her long-term goal of running her own yoga classes. She wants them to be inclusive so that students and adults like her will find a place where they can be accepted. And she's done that. A 100-hour program within our community, doing every step possible so that she can bring that centering ability to others. It was amazing to watch her yesterday because she completed that 100th hour. So yesterday was the day that she achieved that certificate. But that's only one example. There are dozens of examples, and I could go on and on and on, but luckily for you guys, I've got more meetings. So you're safe. But I mean, wellness isn't just one thing. It's a whole approach. The POST program teaches them nutrition. It teaches them coping skills and resilience, teaches them how to persevere when troubling things occur in life, because you all know from the work that you do that life is not easy, right? And there are sometimes things that we have to overcome. And how do you do that when you don't have the traditional supports? So Travis and his crew tie everybody to communities. They make sure that they understand who they are and that they are valued and that they contribute and that it's so important. And because of that, socially and emotionally, these adults thrive. And I'm just so proud of them. It's a wonderful program. And once all of the restrictions from the Department of Ed have decreased, I suggest that you guys go visit this program, because the work they do really is significant and amazing.
Awesome. Erin, thank you so much for being here and pinch hitting in the last minute notice like that. it sounds like a great program. And Janice, thank you for bringing it to us. It's not a program I was aware of, and definitely would like to check it out when possible and hear more about it. So I'm going to turn it over at this point to Greg Denton from Senator Patrick O'Connor's office. Greg, if you're with us, I think you have a few words you wanted to say.
Yep. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. And thank you, Michael and Erin. Thank you for that great overview of Marshfield Post. We're really fortunate on behalf of State Senator Patrick O'Connor's office. We represent the district, Weymouth down to Duxbury. And we've just been so fortunate to have Marshfield Post doing the work that they do. And thank you to Janice for your nomination of Walter Travis and the staff. It's just been a great learning experience for us, and it also helps expose the great services and programs that Marshfield Post does. So to commemorate that and thank them for their work, we also have citations from the Massachusetts State Senate recognizing Walter Travis and the Marshfield Post staff. And it says, similar to the other citations that have been read, but in recognition of being nominated for the 2021 South Shore Community Partners in Prevention Annual Health Literacy Awards, and be it further known, the Massachusetts Senate extends its best wishes for continued success, that this citation be signed by the Senate President and the Clerk of the Senate, and also offered by State Senator Patrick O'Connor and signed by Senate President Karen Spilka. So congratulations to all of you, great work, and thank you so much for the nomination, but also highlighting the great work of Marshfield Post.
Awesome, Greg, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. And to Walter and Travis and Erin, thank you. Well-deserved nomination. Congressman Keating will have a citation to send along, and I'll send it along with this book. There are a lot of great and interesting books about the experiences of developmentally disabled people. This is one I chose, Look Me in the Eye, which Erin, I'm sure you've already read it, but there might be some parents or people in the program who would benefit from it. So I'll send that along. And I will put together a list. I know people in the past have been interested in all the books that we send out. So I'll put together a list and we can send that out to folks. I won't be able to put it in the chat because I'm multitasking here, as you can well imagine. But congratulations and thank you so much for being here this morning. We're going to move along, and I'm going to try to do a shout out to see if he's able to join us. Josh, Rep. Cutler, are you able to be with us? I know he was on and he's in meetings, but he's not with us at the moment. So I'm going to move along to our next nominee. And that is going to be, I'm going to turn it over to Glenda DeVincentis from Old Colony Elder Services. Glenda, if you want to talk about your nomination.
Thank you, Mike. I'm pleased to be here. This has been great to hear all the good work that's helping people live better lives. So as a manager at Old Colony Elder Services, it's so great to hear about other resources that we can share. So, but I'm actually pleased to be here virtually with Dale Simmons, one of OCES's finest nurses, who has worked as an AFC RN for almost 9 years. Dale works with 27 of the 145 families that Old Colony assists as an adult foster care provider. Also known as Adult Family Care, AFC was designed by Mass Health to assist caregivers in the community who are taking care of individuals in their home. Caregivers are initially screened by OCES's care manager and registered nurse assessment team to ensure they are prepared for the task of caregiving and that their home meets safety criteria. Caregivers are expected to provide the individuals a private bedroom, meals, and personal care and transportation. Caregivers receive daily reimbursement for the provision of personal care room and board. Once approved for AFC by Mass Health or other Mass Health providers such as SCOS, OneCare, or PACE, a care manager and nurse provide ongoing support to ensure the placement is working well for the consumer and the caregiver. As an AFC RN, Dale provides excellent care management through home visits, phone calls, and collaboration with the consumer's primary care and service providers. Currently, 8 of 27 families assigned to Dale and her case manager counterpart reside in the towns of Halifax, Hanover, Hanson, Marshfield, Pembroke, and Clinton. Through OCES's AFC program, Dale helps vulnerable individuals who cannot live alone and need 24/7 care understand how to better maintain and improve their health and independence. Dale teaches our consumers, caregivers, how to oversee this overarching goal. Dale also encourages caregivers to continue to take care of themselves so they will be healthy and able to care for their loved one at home as long as possible and in a safe manner. Dale's compassion for her family shows in her work as she goes above and beyond to ensure that many needs are met and they are treated with respect and dignity. One of our consumers who had been deaf for many years was able to hear again when Dale worked with her and her caregiver to obtain a cochlear implant that Dale learned about at a professional development. Another was referred to legal services, who worked with MassHealth to qualify her financially for our program, which allowed her to live the final years of her life with a caring, non-related caregiver and rebuild her strained ties with her natural family who could not care for her due to her extensive medical needs. Prior to working at OCES, Dale has worked in complex hospital settings and also has run her own business. Dale's varied experiences, commitment to her education as a nurse, love of learning, as well as her personal drive for excellence shows in her work with her families. These are some of the reasons why I nominated Dale for CHNA's 23's Health Literacy Award. Thank you.
Thank you, Glenda. Thank you so much for your nomination and letting us know about Dale. And we want to hear from Dale more about her program. So Dale, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm very humbled to be nominated. I'm humbled to be with such incredible people. Learning about all the programs is wonderful. I mean, it will provide more resources for us to share. And when I came to Old Colony Elder Services in 2012, my background was primarily in hospital nursing. So when I started with Old Colony doing nursing in the community, it was quite a steep learning curve because I wasn't very aware of community services at the time. Over the course of the last 9 years, it's been great to form more long-lasting relationships with the people that I visit every month. You get to see them for years in many cases to support. When I first came to Old Colony, we were caring for my dad at home. He was an elder, and the goal is to keep people at home if possible. Everyone would prefer to age in place, or if someone has any kind of physical disability, our program is open to people from 18 and up. So we serve not only elders, but also people with disabilities. And we support trying to keep them in the community. We support their families as their caregivers, or in some cases, including the ones that Glenda mentioned, these are individuals who can't live alone in the community, but a caregiver has offered their home to these individuals, and they care for these individuals in their home, which is great. And we visit them. I visit as a nurse with a case manager monthly, and we try to help them learn about resources available to them in the community. I try to help them with, understanding their medical issues, understanding their medications, intervening if they have some issues with providers, et cetera. So it's really trying to help people, help the caregivers take care of themselves, help the individuals to stay at home. And it's just, it's been a great program, very humbling to see, the dedication people have to the people that they care for in their homes. So we try to keep them there. So thank you for the nomination, and thank you all for everything you do.
Thank you, Dale. And just on a personal note, we could have used your program. My family could have used a program like that about 15 years ago when my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
And we had a panel a few years ago because I think a lot of times people, when someone in the family gets a diagnosis like this, it throws your whole life into chaos, really. And you need as many resources and services and just a supportive ear, a supportive shoulder to cry on sometimes. And, you know, that's what health literacy really is all about. It's empowering people to get that health information that will help them help themselves or help their families. So I think what you're doing is really the definition of health literacy. So congratulations and thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
We are lucky enough with timing to have State Rep Josh Cutler, who is in between meetings. I think he's doing office hours in Duxbury. So if people don't drag him away from us, we're going to have be able to hear from Josh for a moment. Rep Cutler, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate it. I wanted to make sure I was here to support Dale and to recognize her for all the great work. I'm here doing my first office hours in person at the Duxbury Senior Center in probably a year and several months. So it's good to see actually people in person and some people coming in. You might be able to hear the background chatter, but it's all good. But I wanted to make sure I did have a chance to recognize Dale and first of all, thank all of you for all the work everyone's here is doing. I was listening before and I heard when I popped on, my good friend Jen Cantwell was chatting, and I see many other friendly faces here. So I want to thank all of you for the work you're doing, and Mike, you especially, for everything. But I wanted just, Dale, to thank you as a Pembroke constituent. I have a citation here. Hopefully I'd love to present it in person from the House of Representatives to acknowledge you for your nomination and all the great work you're doing for adult family care. And I'm just going to quickly read it. I'm going to try to read it as I show you on the screen. If this is a little tricky sometimes, but be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Dale Simmons in recognition of your nomination for the 2021 Health Literacy Awards and your dedicated work for community health with Old Colony Elder Services. The entire membership extends its best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this day of June 2021, and it's signed by Ronald Mariano, Speaker of the House, and yours truly, Representative Josh Cutler. So congratulations, we're very, very, very proud of you, and we appreciate all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Rep Cutler. Now go back and fix those potholes for those.
Okay.
All right, great, thank you. And I'll turn it over to Monica again, because she brings greetings from Senator Moran as well.
I do, thank you, Dale. Thank you so much for what you do. I can't think of first of all, letting people age at home and receive their health care at home is such a, just such an important part of their lives and their families' lives. And that work alone is spectacular. But in addition, doing it during COVID when people felt so isolated, and you and the caregivers are a lifeline and kept them connected to the community. So such important work, and we thank you very much. And Senator Moran has provided a citation. Be it known that the Massachusetts Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Dale Simmons in recognition of your compassionate care for your patients and support for their families and caregivers during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is signed by Senator Susan Moran and Senate President Karen Spilka. So thank you so much for all you've done for the community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. And there will be a congressional citation from Congressman Keating. And I do have a book. The book I've chosen for you, Dale, is called The Soul to Care. It's about a doctor who, I have not read this book, but it sounds like his wife was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. So I think it's perspective as a doctor caring for his patients. And when it hits so close to home, I think he talks a little bit about that. So hopefully it'll be meaningful for you. We'll make sure we get that to you as well as the citations. And we're glad we're able to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right. I'm going to turn it over quickly to Donna Rodriguez from PAC TV. And Donna has a nominee that she wants to talk about. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Michael. Really excited to be here. And I nominated the Disabled Persons Protection Commission, Nancy Altiero and Jamie Suvak. for their work on behalf of persons with disabilities in the Commonwealth and across the country, and specifically for their Sexual Assault Response Unit, SARU. I first met Nancy, the executive director at DPPC, about 15 years ago, and learned about the work of the Disabled Persons Protection Commission, and had the opportunity to be part of a team that created the Awareness and Action Project, which is a national program educating people about how to recognize, report, and respond to abuse against persons with disabilities. This project and the work of DPPC has always been collaborative and groundbreaking. They've truly led the Commonwealth and the nation in adult protective services for persons with disabilities. This nomination specifically is for their SARU unit. A few years ago, DPPC, under Nancy's guidance, created the Sexual Assault Response Unit at DPPC. And this unit exists to ensure that people with disabilities who have experienced a sexual assault receive trauma-informed services that meet their needs as soon as possible, which is absolutely essential in leading to positive outcomes for these folks. Jackie Suvak is the director of the unit, and it's the first of its kind in the country, literally. Their program is survivor-driven and it's survivor-led. Two incredible women with disabilities, Leanne and Patty, who are sexual assault survivors, have been on the team since the beginning. And they work to inform professionals in the industry across the Commonwealth about how to support survivors of sexual assault with disabilities. They act as peer support leaders to other persons with disabilities who have survived a sexual assault, and they advocate nationwide for providing trauma-informed services to other survivors. So I want to say thank you to Nancy, Leanne, Jamie, Patty, and everybody at DPPC and SARU for the work that you do every single day. And also thank you to everyone who is, and every organization that's part of the South Shores Partner in Prevention. You make life easier for all of us every day, and all of the nominees for the work that you do to make our communities a better place to live, work, and grow. So congratulations to everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Donna. I see that Kim has put the link for the Start by Believing video, which is a great resource that you worked on with Nancy and Jamie. So I'll turn it over to Nancy to accept the nomination.
Thank you so much, Michael. First, I just want to give a shout out to the fellow nominees. Your work serving individuals with disabilities, students, elders, caregivers, you've really changed the lives of so many folks across, your area, but I'm sure and beyond. So thank you. And as Dale said, I'm humbled as well, Dale. This is quite an honor for the Disabled Persons Protection Commission, and specifically the Sexual Assault Response Unit. Jamie Suvak, the director of the Sexual Assault Response Unit, was supposed to join me today, but unfortunately she had a personal family matter that she has to deal with. I just want to quickly introduce you to the Disabled Persons Protection Commission and how the Sexual Assault Response Unit came to be, and then briefly introduce you to the Sexual Assault Response Unit. For those of you who are not familiar with the Disabled Persons Protection Commission, otherwise known as the DPPC, we are an independent state agency, and we are responsible for investigating and remediating instances of abuse committed against persons with disabilities between the ages of 18 and 59 years of age, including sexual abuse. And our mission is only possible because of the incredible collaboration we have with so many advocates, agencies, professionals, families, and others. And as Donna mentioned, we met about 15 years ago to create an awareness and action training. It was a training co-developed by persons with disabilities, for persons with disabilities, to recognize, report, and respond to instances of abuse. And Donna helped us to create this video and 3-hour in-person training. And 15 years later, this training still stands, and it's being co-led by persons with disabilities. And again, it's many from across the country have received copies and are mimicking the training. So thank you. Regarding the Sexual Assault Response Unit, it started with a phone call about 10 years ago. I was talking to a mom whose son, Jack, I'll call him Jack, that's not his real name, had been sexually abused. Jack suffered significant trauma as a result of the sexual assault, but he didn't receive any trauma services post the assault, which resulted in Jack losing his residential placement and his day program. And this was despite the fact that research has shown that individuals with developmental disabilities have the same responses to trauma as people in the general population. Persons with disabilities, intellectual and developmental disabilities, suffer from trauma. And like other trauma victims, people with developmental disabilities will benefit from therapeutic intervention, although it may take them longer to make changes and to recover. However, according to research, if individuals with developmental disabilities do not receive treatment, they are less likely to recover from the trauma. DPPC sought to determine if Jack's case was an isolated case or a systemic issue. We looked at a year's worth of our substantiated sexual assault cases, and the outcome was sobering and troublesome. In only 12% of our substantiated sexual assault cases was trauma services ever recommended, let alone accessed. What about the remaining 88% of those that were sexually abused? It became clear that Jack wasn't the one victim that fell through the cracks. There was a gaping hole, clearly shortcomings in the system, and the system was a complicated one. The gaping hole was placing persons with disabilities at increased risk, and actually we were enhancing their vulnerability. DPPC worked to address the internal gaps and made some internal modifications, but it was clear that DPPC's actions were not nearly enough, and we could not alone be effective. A multidisciplinary collaborative intervention model was required. As further evidence of the systemic shortcomings, DPPC would periodically receive requests from organizations, mostly from rape crisis centers throughout the state, looking for therapists who were experienced in working with persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities and who were also trauma-informed. Not having access to this information or list, the DPPC reached out to the Department of Public Health and to the Department of Developmental Services. And together, we developed and distributed a 2-question survey to identify therapists who were duly informed to work with individuals with IDD. Although the survey was sent out multiple times and went out statewide, we only identified 2 names, which was quite alarming. Again, the results were disappointing but telling. We didn't have enough identified therapists in Massachusetts to treat sexual assault victims with intellectual and developmental disabilities. The sober realization was again supported by a 2012 needs assessment conducted by the Boston Area Rape Crisis Center, which found that people who work with sexual assault victims, we're talking the specialized people at rape crisis centers, felt least confident and equipped to respond to and provide services to persons with developmental disabilities. It was clear to DPPC that there were multiple shortcomings, multiple gaps in the system, and sexual assault survivors with intellectual and developmental disabilities were not receiving services that we knew were out there and we knew that could change the course of their lives. We were delighted when the opportunity to apply for a 2-year federal grant presented itself to us through the Administration for Community Living, ACL, in 2015. DPPC was met with overwhelming enthusiasm when we approached our many partners about working together on this grant in an effort to become more effective. The end result, we created guidelines for rape crisis centers. The Department of Public Health modified their contracts with the rape crisis centers to enhance accessibilities for persons with disabilities to get access to these rape crisis centers. And we conducted training across the state and forged many, many new relationships. Although the ACL project was a great success, we knew it was only the first step on this journey. So we sought out and secured funding through the Massachusetts Office for Victim Assistance to create a specialized unit at the DPPC, the Sexual Assault Response Unit, to respond to sexual abuse committed against persons with disabilities. SARU And Jamie was scheduled here to talk about the components, the work of the Sexual Assault Response Unit, but I'll try to do my best. She's been an extraordinary leader within the Sexual Assault Response Unit at the DPPC. SARU is comprised of 4 functions: navigation, peer support, as Donna mentioned, clinical matching, and an advisory council. So anytime a case is called into DPPC's 24-hour hotline, and if it involves sexual abuse, it goes to the navigator within the Sexual Assault Response Unit at DPPC, and they are reaching out to the victims, to the reporter, to any significant others, to let them know about the trauma services that exist in Massachusetts, from the collection of forensic evidence, you know, from therapeutic services, from victim compensation, and they're educating others about these services and finding out if the individual with a disability would like access to any of these services. And if they do, we're working to break down any barriers so they can get access to those trauma services. In addition, they're working with peer support leaders. These are persons with disabilities that are sexual assault survivors. So they're dealing with their peers, and we have navigators in each region of the state. We have peer support leaders in each region of the state, and they work as a team working with other sexual assault victims with disabilities. And then, as I mentioned, we had a real lack of clinicians, therapists to work with persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities today throughout the state. I'm pleased to say today we have well over 100 therapists that have been trained through our partnership with Interface at William James College to work with victims with disabilities. So if someone is interested in therapeutic services, using our relationship with Interface at William James College, they will help this person with a disability find a therapist, match them with a therapist to work with their disability, their trauma, you know, addressing any barriers that might present them, looking at insurance, addressing the insurance issues. It's just such an extraordinary program. And then the last component of the Sexual Assault Response Unit is our advisory council. And I have to say, we have leaders from across the state who have invested their time in helping us continue to move the Sexual Assault Response Unit forward. For DPPC today and every day, it's really about Jack and working to prevent, working to raise awareness, and working to more effectively respond to sexual abuses committed against persons with disabilities. And I have to say, Donna did a fabulous job producing the video, Start by Believing, which introduces the work of the Sexual Assault Response Unit at the DPPC and the extraordinary work of the peer support leaders. So thank you very much, Donna, for this nomination, and Michael for allowing me to be here today. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Nit. It's such important work, and it's a lot of times it does go unrecognized. So thank you, Donna, for bringing it to our attention as a nominee. And I do urge everyone to check out that video. It was excellent work, as always, Donna. So Nancy, we do have a citation from Congressman Keating. And as always, I have a book. This is a book, I actually did read this one. It's a great book. It's called Sitting Pretty, The View from My Ordinary Resilient Disabled Body, a woman named Rebecca Tossig. She talks about her experience as a disabled person and what she's gone through. And she has a very unique perspective, let's put it that way. And I think hopefully you'll enjoy reading it and sharing with others in your organization. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you. Okay, we've come to our last nominee, and it is our colleague, Elizabeth Hahn, on the steering committee and the health literacy subcommittee. And sadly, Liz did lose her battle with kidney cancer this week. So we're very sorry and extend our condolences and sympathies to her family, many of whom are joining us today, and hopefully we'll be able to hear from them soon. But I wanted to turn it over to Kathleen, who did nominate Liz. Kathleen, go ahead.
It's always important to unmute, right? After all these months, we still, anyway. So good morning again. As Mike said, many of Liz's friends, her family, and her colleagues are with us this morning. Back in April, I nominated Liz for the Health Literacy Award because, and I think that her nomination was probably the first that Mike received, because I was so enthusiastic about nominating her, because she was and is so deserving. So, well, why is that? Well, Liz has been a tireless advocate on behalf of all persons who are disabled or otherwise marginalized in our society. She has been particularly knowledgeable and a staunch supporter for improved services for children and transition age youth with mental health conditions, as well as a champion for the rights of LGBTQ and transgendered persons. So how has she advocated? Well, for all the years that I've known her, and I've known her, several of us have known her for several years, Liz has unfailingly and enthusiastically volunteered to serve on boards, on advisories, on committees, whose goals and values sought to improve the lives affected by mental health and other conditions through support and education. She most currently served as Vice President of the Plymouth DMH Site Board, Treasurer of NAMI Plymouth Area, contributing member of the CHNA 23 Health Literacy Subcommittee, the South Shore Community Partners in Prevention Steering Committee, and on a monthly state DMH Family Advisory Council moderated by Commissioner Brooke Doyle, on which Buddy Baker-Smith also served, and hosted by NAMI Mass. Her contributions and recommendations to these groups has been consistently insightful, well thought out, and seriously considered. Whether staffing a table at the Plymouth Public Library Health Fair, the Quincy College Health Fair, or a NAMI Plymouth event, Liz was consistently hand up, ready to help. Be it face-to-face at a NAMI semi-monthly family support group or virtually on social media, she has been an active, authentic voice for families trying to navigate complex medical and psychiatric challenges. She has used her education, work experience, and her own family's experience honed in the trenches to listen and guide other families to the most appropriate inpatient, outpatient settings for their children or young adults. Most recently, Liz did serve with a small team of fellow volunteers that included Sheila Flaherty, Phil Bombardier, Brendan Burke, and myself to create a NAMI area, a NAMI Plymouth area DMH Plymouth Site Board collaboration that did produce the roadmap through the mental health system for 2021. And I think it's important to note that in writing and editing our roadmap, Liz chose to include those tools and strategies that were most effective in her family's journey. Like so many NAMI families, education about mental health conditions, compassion, remarkable flexibility. She also offered parents and other caregivers in our roadmap useful books and program activities, as well as options for folks with different lived experience. On a personal note, Liz was a truly engaging friend with a great sense of humor that most of you who know her will certainly agree with. A few years ago, for example, we worked together on a comedy show at the Spire entitled "Laughter is the Best Medicine." And you know, not every moment of that comedy show was funny, but we laughed and laughed afterwards in spite of the fact. In closing, I appreciate all Liz accomplished because of her persistence, her steadfastness, and even her doggedness in pursuing what she considered right, whether that passion was directed at improving systems, programs, or whatever. That passion was at her core, as was her love for her family. Liz's philosophy drove her actions, and that philosophy was, we are all on this road together, so we might as well help each other out.
Thank you, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Thank you for nominating Liz and bringing her accomplishments and her legacy to our attention for those of us who did not know her. I do want to turn it over quickly to Buddy Baker-Smith. I know Buddy has some time constraints, but he did want to pass along some words from the DMH. Buddy is the area director for DMH Southeast Mass. So Buddy, if you're still with us.
I am, thank you.
Great.
And I'm glad I'm still with you, because it's been really quite inspiring to hear all of the nominations this morning, and all of the work and all of the kind of personal commitment in all of the work that's been described. And I think that really does certainly capture Liz and how she saw her advocacy. It was definitely a personal commitment with the passion behind it. I've had the opportunity to know Liz over the years in her advocacy role. She's participated in a lot of work in the department to redesign our services. She's been a really strong voice in where the gaps were, what was needed. But I have to say that the thing that I always remember about Liz is her advocacy was always grounded in the personal. It started with a concern for how people are, their well-being. And from that, it kind of elevated to, what do we need for resources? How do our services really supposed to work for people? What is missing? But it always started and rooted in a concern and a question about, how are people doing? What can we do better? What can we do for them? What is missing? And I think I've always appreciated that. It makes my work feel more rewarding to be constantly reminded that this is people work. That is where it ought to be grounded. So I've always appreciated my interactions with Liz, and the phone calls and the meetings that I've been in with her. I do have 2 certificates of acknowledgement and appreciation. One from the Commissioner of the Department of Mental Health, Brooke Doyle, which is a certificate of appreciation for Elizabeth Hahn. The Department of Mental Health gratefully acknowledges your extraordinary and tireless advocacy on behalf of young adults, children, and families to provide an effective and comprehensive system of mental health services that is responsive to their needs. And Liz always knew there was a system, there was money behind this. You had to really advocate for the system of care to be there for people. And from the Southeast area, a certificate of appreciation for Liz, an appreciation for your advocacy efforts to improve the access and quality of mental health services in the Southeast area for young adults, children, and families. And a lot of her work in the redesign of our services was about that access and that quality. And what do we do differently and better to improve both of those things? So certainly my life has been enriched personally by knowing Liz. I think a lot of people could probably testify to that. And thank you for the opportunity to share these acknowledgements.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us to remember Liz and honor her, Buddy. Representative Kathy Lenatra has joined us. Thank you so much, Rep. Lenatra. I know you wanted to say a few words of remembrance and congratulations to Liz and her family.
I did. Thank you. It's great to be with you all this morning. And I can actually feel the love that you have for Liz as I'm looking at all your faces, because I just have the little faces up. And as everyone spoke about Liz, I could really see the emotion and feel the love and respect that you had for her. I actually had the opportunity to meet Liz. I hosted a small show on PAC TV, and it was mental health amid the pandemic. And I got an email from Liz, and she wanted to know why NAMI wasn't involved. And I said, I really don't know much about NAMI. And she set up a Zoom, and Kathleen, I believe you were on that Zoom too. And boy, the passion and the advocacy that came from her was amazing. And I've been a fan of hers ever since. And this award is so well deserved. I loved hearing about laughter is the best medicine, how afterwards you just laughed and just the things that she spoke about and the love and the passion that she had for what she did and the difference that she made is something that will always carry forward. So congratulations on this award. And I'm going to quote Sarah Cloud, and I'm getting emotional, but I'm going to quote Sarah Cloud and say, a heavenly congratulations, Liz. This is a well-deserved award. And I'm so happy I could join you today to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Rep. Lenatra. Appreciate your being able to be with us. Monica, I know you passed along some thoughts from Senator Moran.
Yes, Liz did receive a Senate citation from Senator Moran, and it is given in recognition of receiving the 2021 CHNA Health Literacy Award for your leadership in advocacy in community mental health services. And we all will miss her. And thankfully, she left quite a legacy, and her impact in the community will always be there. We'll always remember her. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Monica. I would just say on behalf of the CHNA as chair and having Liz on the steering committee for the last 4 or 5 years or so, it's been a while. All the years kind of run together, unfortunately, but it was an honor to serve with her. And a few things I'll remember about Liz is that she was never afraid to challenge the conventional wisdom or accepted truths. We would be having discussions and, you know, we'd kind of be going along and all of a sudden Liz would come up with a thought or a perspective that really made us think about decisions that we were making in a different way. So I really appreciated that. If you followed Liz's Facebook page during her battle with cancer and during the pandemic, she focused on gratitude. What was she thankful for that day, that week, that month? And I know a lot of people were really inspired by that who followed her Facebook page. And I'll just reiterate something Kathleen said. During the pandemic, especially, Liz was always focused on how were people coping? How were people taking what, you know, a bad situation and turning it into a positive situation. And for her, humor was a big way in doing that. So those are the things I'll remember about Liz. Certainly her legacy and her passion will live on. We do have a book that I'd be happy to forward to the family. It is about humor. It's a humor book, Nora Ephron's book, I Feel Bad About My Neck and Other Thoughts About Being a Woman. Talks about her struggles growing older and different physical challenges she had. So thank you to Liz for all that she's done. And we really appreciate her work. We really appreciate her friendship. And we really do extend our sympathies and condolences to her family. I don't know if anyone from the family or friends would like to say a few words. Certainly not required, but I want to give you the opportunity if you wanted to do so.
Michael, I'm Janice Avery. I'm Liz's oldest sister. And I wanted to say she was a very humble person and would be embarrassed in this moment. I want to acknowledge the luminaries in this community who are so extraordinary. But I do think of her as an unsung hero. And so Kathleen, this nomination really is meaningful to me and the rest of the family. Liz was selfless, used her lived experience as leverage both to help others navigate systems that she finally succeeded in navigating, and to use that experience to advocate for systems changes. She desperately wanted bureaucracies to be more compassionate and flexible to truly meet the needs of children and families as they navigated the system. So I just have deep thanks from all of us.
Thank you, Janice. We really appreciate that. And it's very well said. She was very humble and in a lot of ways an unsung hero. So it's fitting that we take this a moment today to acknowledge her and her work. And I guess now is the right time to say that Liz has been chosen as our winner for the Health Literacy Award. So congratulations to Liz. Heavenly congratulations, as Sarah so well put it. I will say Kathleen and I, thanks to the family, were able to have the opportunity to do a brief Zoom with Liz earlier this week before she passed, to let her know that she had been chosen as the winner and that her work has been recognized. So I know it meant a lot to her, and it means a lot to her family for us to take this time and to acknowledge her. So thank you all. Thank you to our family, and thank you, Liz. I don't know if anyone else has any words or anything they want to say. Again, just want to throw it open if anyone has any thoughts.
Hi, Michael. This is Sheila.
Go ahead.
Hi, Sheila Flaherty. All I can say right now is she's going to be missed, but you know what? I was blessed, truly blessed to have known her. That's what I want to say. Gonna miss her. Take care.
Hello, my name is Izuna. I was extremely close to Liz, and she would be so humble right now. She'd be like, no, it's not me. Why me? It's true what Janice said, but she was a power that is going to live on through so many people that she has helped that don't even know her too. And I just want to really thank you guys for coming through and giving her the award before she passed. It meant so much. Casey is here, her daughter, and we've both been watching with the camera off because we've been crying. But thank you guys so much. And like Janice said, Liz was an unsung hero. She didn't like to be in the spotlight, but she deserved it more than anybody that I know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you for being here, Casey, and the rest of the family. We did record this. I see you're recording it as well, but I'll make sure you have a copy of the recording. Who knows, yours might be better quality than mine, but we'll see. A lot of folks chiming in the chat. So if folks want to take a moment to, in the interest of time, I didn't do all the chat shout outs, but Kelly from PYDC, a big congrats to Liz, sending lots of love to her family and friends that are joining today. Trudy, Avery, such amazing work being done in our communities, and that has been reflected through Liz. So yeah, I guess just in summation, Liz did mean a lot to a lot of people, and I think you're right, Una. A lot of people who didn't even know her have been impacted by her work, and that's her ultimate legacy, is the compassion and the changes that will come about because of her work. So thank you for being here, and thank you for Liz. So thank you all. So on that note, we do sadly say goodbye to Liz, but we thank her, and we thank you all for being here, especially Liz's family. Thank you especially to our nominees for all the great work that you've done throughout the years. It's great to hear from some new programs and programs that aren't necessarily familiar to us. So that's a great opportunity for us. And it's great to hear from folks who are part of the CHNA and some of the work that they're doing with the resources that we've been able to contribute through the community. So thank you all. We do hope you'll keep engaged with the CHNA, with our health literacy initiative. Bethany has put her email in the chat. Please make sure to write it down or copy and paste or whatever, and stay in communication with us and with Bethany, so that we can keep this work going forward. So On that note, I thank you all, and I wish you all a great weekend and a great summer, and we'll see you back for our general meetings in September. Thank you all very much.